What is up, sweet fam? It's your girl Kenisha, and I'm so happy to be back here with you. I know it's been a while, and I'm gonna address all of that in this video today. And I'm gonna talk about all my lessons that I've been learning, what's been going on during this pandemic. We have not spoken all pandemic, and that is my bad. But you guys have always been in my thoughts. Shout out to my friends who continuously send me screenshots of my YouTube channel with the caption saying things like, what's going on, when's the next video, hello. So shout out to you guys. It just kind of keeps me on my toes, and despite me not dropping videos, it's not relevant for me. It's definitely front and center of my life. It's on my to-do list. And to make you guys understand, I have video on videos to drop after this in the next coming week. So I ain't gonna slow down with it. I got y'all. So anyways, what's been up? Where have I been? Like, Kenisha, what are you doing? All right, so let me start with you guys. This was not intentional. It was absolutely not intentional to not do videos for this long. I think my last video that I dropped was like that's how long it's been. It's about January. Now, let me tell you guys, YouTube, preparing for it and all that stuff is a completely different beast, okay? You gotta have your hair did. And listen, today I was just like, screw it. I'm just gonna start recording. I got my tea here and all, so in my favorite New York cup. I got this cup from New York. Well, a client sent it to me from New York. But anyways, so yeah. Now, let's backtrack for a bit because we definitely have some territory to cover. This year started out what to be, you know, I think for everyone started out on this whole 2020 vision. And you know what, to be honest with you guys, I am not a person who likes to plan. I'm a event planner, but I don't like to plan things, if that makes sense. And and I'm saying this very lightly because there is planning, but there is like cautionary planning, if that makes sense to you. Because I believe life is life, and no matter how much we think we have control of things, we really don't. You know, so I think when you're planning things, you got to be mindful. And 2020 was a perfect example of the fact that you cannot you know, there's a saying that they say, I don't know if it's just Jamaicans that say this, but you know, man plans and God laughs, because God has his own plans for what he's doing. And you know, so I'm a believer in that. So you know, this year I really started off the year very, you know, quietly and still, so to speak, you know, starting the year with my fasting and, you know, all those things. And then we jumped right into January. We lost Kobe and his sweet daughter Gigi, and that was a shock to the world, you know, unexpected. I remember I was at my son's basketball practice, and I had dropped him off at the entrance and then parked, came inside, and then the kids ran up to me and they're like, Kobe died. And I was like, okay, you guys, that's not funny. And they're like, no, seriously. And then I looked at one of the other parents and she's like, it's true. And I just felt, you know, I don't know these people, obviously, but in the manner of which they passed away, you feel a sense of, oh my gosh. And you feel empathy and you feel that pain, especially weeks after we start getting you know, that at work that we gotta leave for 2 weeks. Schools had to, you know, send kids home for the 2 weeks, and this was right into March break. I'm referring you guys to, you know, the start of the pandemic, the beginning of the pandemic. And obviously I don't think at first I really took it that seriously. I was kind of like, okay, this seems serious, but at the same time, oh, it's just gonna fly by. And it didn't. We're still here in November, and it has not flown by. Okay, if anything, you know, the world seems to be, it's either we're going in the wrong direction, or maybe we're going in the right direction and we can't see the light yet. I don't know. Time will tell though, right? So having said that, when the pandemic started initially and we got sent home, I remember that night, the first night I went to the grocery store. I didn't storm off for toilet paper, but I went to the grocery store to kind of stock up on stuff. And I remember going to the grocery store. I even seen one of my close friends and in the grocery store, and I just remember everyone looking like zombies. Like they did not know what to do. You know, it was quiet, but there was an urgency, if that makes sense. Like people would just try to pack their grocery carts and get the hell home because no one had no idea what was really to come, I guess. I remember seeing one, like some people were kind of overdoing it, but I get it. People are scared. I seen one lady, her cart was full to the max with eggs. I don't know if she had, I don't know what she was feeding. I have no idea, but I was just like, okay, seriously, eggs, really? And obviously we had that thing where people were just storming to get toilet paper. Luckily, I copped 2 packs, and I said, I think this is enough for 2 weeks, because I was anticipating 2 weeks. So anyhow, you know, pandemic is here, and I think after April, when we seen like kids were not going back to school, I was like, okay, we are in something serious right now. So having said that, I started indulging on what we call quarantine snacking. Guys, it was bad, okay? But after a while, you know, there was a time in the pandemic where I started to say to myself, you know what? You need to start focusing on the things you've been trying to focus on. And I know that there's a lot of people who, through the pandemic, they felt bad for, you know, not taking initiative to do stuff or not doing enough. And I don't think that you should feel, if you're one of those people, you should feel bad for that. And the reason why I don't think you should feel bad for that is because this is not something planned. None of us knew this was coming. If you had to chill out for a couple weeks, then so be it. It is okay, you know, but after a while, obviously, we're kind of realizing that this is our new normal. This is definitely the time to take advantage of the time that you do have, if you have that time, to do things that you are trying to do, whether it's, you know, starting your business from home or working out a little bit more. I need to take a note to myself for that one. And, you know, all those little things, but don't be down on yourself. That's what I'm trying to say to you guys. You know, we're human. We're all still trying to navigate through this thing. So take it easy on yourself. That's my note to you guys. I did, however, when the pandemic did start, one thing that I did start doing, guys, I was just tuning into virtual events left, right, and center, like online learnings and stuff like that. One thing that I did start doing was yoga, and there's a girl named Brittany who, I guess she teaches at a studio, but she decided to take it all virtual. And every Wednesday she'd have, I think it was every night actually, online. Every night she'd have virtual yoga sessions. So I started doing those. I dimmed the lights, put on some quiet like music, some jazz in the background, had a little candle out, and those were some of the most refreshing, mindful, connected moments that I had during this whole pandemic. And it was good, and I felt really good in my body. So shout out to yoga, shout out to Brittany for doing that. I haven't gotten to do yoga as much, but I'm really trying to continue to incorporate it, especially in the mornings. I feel it helps, it calms me. I feel better, my body feels better. But those night yogas were the bomb, you guys. So let me just take a sip of my tea. Even though I'm not sharing tea, sharing facts and good stuff. Okay. You guys don't even know what I'm drinking. I'm drinking ginger and lemon, and yeah. If you want to know more about that, just drop a comment. Anyways, so yeah, the yoga stuff. So it's doing the yoga stuff, and then I really started to focus more on, learning more about my industry because we were drastically pivoting to the virtual environment. And obviously, if you guys don't know yet, I do live events. Obviously, in this world, live events are like yesterday. They are ancient news right now, unfortunately. And, while I'm on this topic, much love and much compassion and shout out to my event managers, who planners, all coordinators, because our world is definitely suffering. And when I say our world, I'm talking about the events industry in terms of live events. The virtual event world for virtual event planning is popping. We have definitely pivoted and we're learning to incorporate, new ways to bring that to life. So, I was really trying to learn more about that. And in the midst of that, I was lucky enough to be able to do some speaking gigs because in the past I have had the opportunity to create hybrid virtual events. And from that experience and building on that expertise, I was able to share my expertise with other event planners in the events world, which has been really great. Staying on that topic, during that time, we seen the murder of George Floyd, and that incident sparked so much outrage within obviously the world, but also in the events world because it brought to light a discussion about, Black event professionals not having enough representation. Not to say that this is done maliciously, but obviously with systemic racism, unconscious biases and stuff like that, Black event professionals have taken some hit for that in our careers. So, ironically, in the beginning of the year, I was online on Twitter chit-chatting, and the conversation came up on Event Planners Talk, which is a Twitter platform where they host weekly chats for event planners. And, one of the questions were, what changes do we want to see in the events world? And myself and my now business partner, who's actually from the UK, we both said we want to see more representation of Black event professionals. And that conversation stemmed into us from the beginning of the year, ironically, I'm going to say that again, to build a platform for Black event professionals. Also been putting work into the K-Suite, guys, and I know that you may not see it right now, but it's been in the works. I did manage to create the website, which is still in the works, but if you go to www, I'll drop it down in the the section down below. If you go to www.theksuite.com, you can subscribe and you'll have all your up-to-date notes on there and what's to come and when I actually do open up the site. And yeah, also, if you're interested, I do have a workshop on creating a vision board coming up, so stay tuned to that, y'all. I'll be dropping some information about that. And this is not your typical vision board event. It's really about doing the hard stuff first, which is reflecting and thinking about what your year's been like. All these little fun things, but actually things that will make you think, and then transferring it to your vision board. So stay tuned for that because I don't believe that vision boards are things you just cut images out and paint. You got to do some work before it happens, and of course after you create it. And we're going to talk about all that at that workshop. So again, stay tuned for that. There's been good times and bad times during this pandemic. So what should I start off with, you guys? The good or the bad? Okay, let's start with the bad stuff first, because let's just get that all out of the way. The bad stuff with during this time of the pandemic is that one of the hardest things has been not seeing family as often. My mother's a senior, so going in her environment was kind of a no-no. And she was, if you know my mother out, y'all, she's Jamaican. She was not having anyone over. you know, so we were very cautious about that. You know, my mom, she's usually comes over to my place and whatnot, but this was a time where it was really hard. We did a lot of obviously video chatting, you know, my siblings, my nephew who is still a toddler. It was hard not being able to see him during this time growing up. You know, they grow so quickly. So that was really hard. By nature, you guys, I'm kind of an introvert, so I had no problem staying at home. I really did not. I kind of liked it. You know, so I don't have problems with the whole staying at home thing, and getting my work done. I'm pretty focused when it comes to that. So I would say that that was a good thing. Another bad thing was just not necessarily getting to do what you wanted when you wanted to do it, and going to the grocery stores. I mean, these things are really petty little things. When I say bad stuff, like not being able to go to the grocery store whenever you want it at the time you want it, waiting in lines and all that, it's not big things. You know, I'm a person, I try to look at the glass half full, you know, look at the silver lining, and kind of go with the flow of things. So the good stuff was, you know, if you have kids like me, I have my son, it was a time where you got to spend more time with your family that you do live with. I know some people, it might drive them crazy, but when you're a parent, you know, you have your kids, you go to work and they go to school, there's small chunks of hours that you spend with your family if you really take it in. So mornings it's like getting ready, going to school, you're rushing, and then after school if they have programs, all this stuff, we're always doing stuff. So it was a time to really just slow down, and I enjoyed that. I made fresh lunches every single day. It wasn't, you know, and hot lunches, and it was that part of it was really amazing, and I loved that. And I loved the fact that I noticed a lot of people who had like balconies and stuff, or backyards, if you're fortunate to have a backyard, they were just, you know, really spending time, you know, decorating their space and just making it their own. You know, some people were doing DIY projects in their house, which is really nice to see. Another good thing that I enjoyed was being able to take the time to focus on the things that you've probably been on the back burner. So shout out to those people who did, you know, decide, okay, I'm just gonna start my business right now. Shout out to you. And again, if you're still struggling or trying to figure out to start that business and you want to, don't be hard on yourself. If you need to, reach out to me. I would love to chit chat with you and give you some tips and encourage you to get that thing going, right? So anyhow, so those are some of the goods, the bads, and all that stuff. Anything, don't be hard on yourself, and, you know, love each other as much as you can. Appreciate your friends, your family, and all that stuff. So, yeah, I'm really glad and I'm really happy to be back here talking with you guys, and I hope you guys continue sticking with me, and I feel like if you are here right now, you're definitely gonna stick with me. But yes, please share your comments, subscribe, hit the like button, turn on your notifications on, because I'm going to be dinging your phone, your computer with new stuff. I am also thinking about dropping some of the videos that I did while we were on lockdown. I did about 2 or 3. They might be kind of historic at this point, but nonetheless, I still think maybe I'll drop a couple of them and let you guys know what I was thinking or doing at that time. But for now, I am going to sign out. Please visit www.theksweet.com to subscribe and be alerted when the website drops And when I have my event starting to register for that, I'll definitely be talking about that in a couple other videos. But thank you guys again. I love you guys so much for sticking it out, riding with me, with your girl, my sweet fam. I love you. Mwah. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification button, visit the site for new content, drop me an email if you need to, and don't forget to drop by the suite next week.